Hey guys, this is Tyler with Secure Team 10, and thank you once again for stopping by and allowing us a few minutes of your always valuable time. As I'm sure you've all seen, there have been much speculation lately regarding a widespread blackout that according to many is due to come this November, although we've spoken to other sources who date such an event inside the year 2014. At this point, much of the videos out there covering this are full of speculation, half-truths, and fear propaganda. It's hard to come by real facts these days, so we're going to attempt to get down to the bare points of this story and figure out exactly just what we're in store for. On October 27th, American Blackout, a new found footage style horror movie from National Geographic, brought fear into the homes of viewers across the nation as it skillfully imagined 10 days of a nationwide power outage caused by a devastating cyber attack. American Blackout utilizes a combination of user-generated content culled from online, actual news reports, and scripted scenes to dramatize a frightening realistic disaster. Regardless of how scary it may have been, let's all remember that this was a fictional film, which Nat Geo can now add to its growing list of past catastrophe simulated films, from comets slamming into the Earth and alien invasions. This cable network has certainly tapped into the growing fear market, and with its newest edition, is sure to boost ratings and generate massive amounts of money to its sponsors thanks to the millions of now scared people running out to purchase supplies like flashlights and bottled water. As you've all seen countless times in the past, every time there is a growing speculation of some coming catastrophe or event, the news media and cable networks jump at the chance to pump out ratings-boosting fear propaganda like the new American Blackout. But what evidence, if any, do we really have to corroborate this speculation? And should we be sincerely worried about these claims? Let's look at the facts we do have regarding this alleged coming power grid failure. Now, on November 13th through the 14th of 2013, the United States, Canada, and Mexico, along with more than 150 companies and organizations in all three countries, will take part in the Grid X 2013 Preparedness Drill, one of the largest preparedness drills in our country's history. The U.S. government is gearing up for a major preparedness drill that will simulate a grid down scenario, one that will examine what would happen if the country's electric grid was taken down with both physical and cyber attacks. In preparation for this type of attack, our government is going to test the grid's vulnerabilities as thousands of utility workers team up with various government agencies. The drill will look at how the three governments react to the loss of the power grid and a crippled supply chain that would inevitably follow the event. The fact is, during a grid down situation, you will be on your own. The government simply doesn't have the ability or the resources to help you survive. If you don't have adequate training, emergency supplies, and the ability to survive this type of situation, your timing might just be running out. So let's stop for a minute and put all of this hype into context. Let's first remember that blackouts have happened throughout time, and none of which were caused by terrorist or cyber-terrorist attacks. We of course realize that the further we move into the future, the farther technology grows, and the threat that comes from those who would use it for sinister purposes. But still, we all need to take into consideration what exactly is happening here before we jump into conclusions based on fear that has come from watching the countless YouTube videos pushing needless fear-mongering and speculation to its viewers. Let's remember that many of these videos, some of which I'm sure you'll see right next to this one in the recommended videos section, are created and produced by the usual suspects that have made a living off of pumping out 10 videos a day covering 10 different catastrophic scenarios in hopes of increasing their view count and AdSense earnings. We all know that there are rogue elements to our government, and the same goes with any government. Well, maybe not Sweden, love that place, but most all others. I also highly doubt that the government would be prepping for a multinational test of our power grids if they had plans just to knock it down a month later, in some false flag event. The airing of films like American Blackout further this point. After all, if I were going to plan a coming power grid shutdown as part of some sinister governmental agenda, I sure wouldn't allow any of the major cable or news networks to air films and shows advocating the preparedness for such events, nor would I publicly stage a large-scale testing of such grids for the world to see, furthering the population's preparedness for such events. If everyone's prepared for a blackout, that would defeat the purpose of a false flag event to take down the power grid. Let's also remember that the government is made up of millions of workers, whom all have family, friends, children, and homes in all 50 states, and they too would be subject to the ramifications of such a blackout. There is no real gain that is to be had from creating such a breakdown of society. Let us remember that the single most basic principle of our government is greed. They send us to war so that they can rake in billions from military hardware contracts, and the same goes from pushing the idea of a possible looming blackout. They don't wish to truly knock out the power grid, but to simply make you, the viewer at home, scared enough so that you'll go out and spend 5 or 10 grand on goods that are most certainly produced by manufacturers under the government's wing. The bottom line here is that while there is certainly a threat of coming attacks aimed at our power grid, this in and of itself doesn't mean it will happen, regardless of how many National Geographic's ratings burners we see or YouTube fear-mongering videos that we're plagued with each day. America is the leader of the free world, and at the same token is owned in the sense by some of the other largest nations in the world. A blackout would serve no purpose to these nations, and if anything, would halt everyday business that we are needed for by the likes of places like China, who have a large stake in our country, and the trillions of dollars that we generate for them and their products each year. We ask our viewers to be practical, and to take a look at all things with a realistic view. A blackout could hit us tomorrow, and cause anarchy leading to the deaths of you and your family. But then again, so could a car crash, or a tornado, or an illness. The point here is that anything could happen at any time. But this in and of itself is not proof of a coming or planned event. You use your eyes, your common sense, and always question everything, regardless of where the information is coming from. If there's one thing to take away from films like American Blackout, it's that it never hurts to be prepared within the bounds of reason. According to a new survey released by Kelton Research, Americans feel that friends and family are more likely to be of help in the face of a cataclysm than the government or official agencies like FEMA. It's always good to be prepared for anything, whether it be a power grid failure or any number of other natural or man-made catastrophes. It's no secret that we at Secure Team take pride in researching the great unknown, but we also pound the pavement and chase down leads that would corroborate or discredit information we have. This is the true and only way to obtain the truth, and when we have something solid, we try to publish it with as little fluff and fear tactics as possible, because that is not our goal or agenda. We want our viewers to be aware of what's going on around them, but at a price that won't cause them to fear their surroundings and question the point of living when they have enough on their plates just trying to make it in this world. We understand that there are many rogue elements to our society, and even more unknowns, but we will only publish what we can corroborate, and not use our viewers' fear as a base to gain video likes and ad revenue. I hope that all YouTubers can take this stance, and remember that our viewer bases are putting their trust in you to get the truth out, not to exploit their fear of it. As always, we ask that our viewers take a skeptical eye to what's in front of them, and the same goes for our videos. We wouldn't be where we are today without our viewers and the subjective view they give us, and for that we will always cherish and respect the relationship we have. I am Tyler with Secure Team, and as always, share, subscribe, be safe, and have a very happy Halloween.